Welcome back to the Hurley Pro Trestles. Round 2 underway. Heat 6 hitting the lineup now with Mick Banting taking on Matt Banting. Mick, fresh off a win at Jeffreys Bay. He did skip the event in Tahiti. He's surfing limited contests. And the question has to be asked, Rost, is this the last time we're going to see Mick pull on the jersey? We're going to find out. Matt Banting getting off to a quick start here.
Well, I certainly hope not, because Mick is, still one of the best surfers on the planet. And here we go, Matt Banting, a couple of very smooth, fast, fluid snaps there. That's going to be a very nice start for him. Just a 6.83, but I think the judges keeping it that scale a little on the low side, being that brother Mick Fanning's in the lineup. He's capable of getting excellent scores in his sleep. But I think Matt, that surfboard under his feet's looking very zippy. Making sure he has a seed for next year. That to me tells me he's going to come back.
Well, here he goes on his first wave of this second round. And the first turn is muddy, throwing a lot of water, driving up into the lip once again, kicks that tail. Trademark approach from Fanning so far on this ride as he continues just to dice this thing up. So a nice sequence of turns as he rolls through this inside section, drawing that last move out beautifully and looking for a big finish here as he bashes that tail into the oncoming section. Just behind him, Matt Banting, looking loose and throwing a 360 there. Just getting a little caught up for a moment. But even in the first round, Matt Banting had moments of brilliance and showed a little more flair than he has throughout his previous experiences on the CT. But that was looking like a pretty decent ride. Looking forward to seeing the start of that wave.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible right there. I feel like Matt is onto something. He looks a little more aggressive than we've seen him so far this year. Mick Fanning doing what he always does, Ronnie. It's so rare to see him off. Every time he stands up on a wave, he does something like this, just begging for an 8-point ride or higher. He always gets that rail slicing through the water better than anyone. And then he has a great ability to mix up his moves. So he'll go from a carve to a snap right there. A lot of spray and speed, of course. Mick Fanning, and there, that section was a little trickier. It stood up in front of him, and he smacked it. So, we're looking at a couple different moves. Here, he didn't get too excited and go for an air. That section was kind of begging for an air, but Mick knows where his skills lay, and he went for a very fast tail slide. So smart surfing from Mick. And look at this wave. The wave's absolutely on fire right now. And Matt Banting going big. That was a huge reverse right there. Big old tail slide all the way around, going 360 degrees. So showing a lot of commitment. And so Matt Banting, not going to be quite as powerful as Mick Fanning, but he is a little bit more agile. He's fast. So I think that was a smart choice of moves. That was big. That was very committed right there.
Pretty decent first turn for Banting. Well, the scores are in for the first exchange. Matt Banting, he's in the lead, a 7.43 on his last wave, a 6.83 in his first, but the biggest number came from Mick Fanning.
Wow, so, Mick Fanning, undeniable with that power. Again, he has such a good routine. It's very solid. He mixes those precise carves with a couple of smacks, and then I really love that finishing move from Mick Fanning. I know it wasn't your stock standard reverse that you see a lot from the younger kids, but again, the judges, they're not going to deny you if you have this much fluidity. Mick doesn't even think about digging a rail. There's no bobbles. This is as clean as surfing can get. Again, it's amazing how Mickey has that torque, which gives him so much ability to get through speed on each turn. He never recovers. And again, that finishing turn, pretty radical, how he's, chucked that tail out the back. Awesome surfing there, Ronnie.
Looking very sharp on his first wave and just looking to recover a bit of a uncharacteristic heat from Mick in the first round. Joel Parkinson got the better of him. Joel really did look aggressive in that first round and Mick couldn't match him. Has worked with up-and-coming coaches. Just tell us where you think Matt can improve his game going forward.
Well, he's a light-footed surfer, so, he's not one of those guys that's going to overpower the wave. So you see right there, that might have been the culprit. That first maneuver, a little slidey. So, because his board didn't really get heavy on rail, sometimes the judges can cruel you just a little bit for it. You know, if your surfboard stays flat and slidey, it's still radical, but when you're comparing it to Mick Fanning, who's digging half his board in the water with all that pure power.
Yeah, well, definitely wave selection might be the culprit when you look at the numbers for the opening exchange, but Fanning's electing to take this one with priority, driving off the bottom. Not a bad first turn as he swings it back up into the pocket. Here is the best section of this ride, and Fanning just throws his board right on rail, and again, just bring his board right through those turns. Big directional changes, and that's that committed effort that Strider was referring to.
Yeah, I mean, what's so comforting about Mick Fanning, and to be honest, is so easy for the judges to throw big scores, is he's extremely comfortable in his own skin with the way he surfs. You never see Mick try to surf like somebody else. He knows where his strengths are, and this wave screams for it. Watch when it slows down for him. So kind of a transitional hack right there, just off the lip, but now it slows down and he's going to go on that rail. That is butter right there. That's just pure Mick Fanning-esque carving. With that speed, you know, his nickname, White Lightning, he's so fast, but again, he's putting so much rail in the water. That's a lot of power.
Big names hitting the lineup in the second round. One of them out there right now, Mick Fanning leading. Matt Banting, Fanning's second ride, also went excellent, an 8.4. And this man who didn't get a full year as a rookie last season due to injury, he's up against it, but he's thrown down some pretty exciting turns and really looking to get the edge over Fanning with some progression.
Yeah, it's a really fun contrast between him and Mick Fanning. You know, Mick is basically gouging this place up like a tractor, and you got Matt Banting out there popping wheelies. So the one thing that I really like, and it's refreshing from Matt, is he seems so confident. You know, that's the kind of surfing that we're used to seeing from him, Ronnie, is going to the air, busting the fins free. But the judges right now, they like the rail.
That's a fast tractor. And here we go, Fanning up again and trying to improve on an excellent number. The waves are firing here on day 3 as Mick lets go of some huge turns but gets one wrong. You don't see it too often, but he's in a position now where he can afford to push a little harder because he's already got 2 excellent scores on the board.
It's going to be so tough for Matt Banting to get back into this heat. The way that the scale's set, you know, it's as if the judges are screaming out to the lineup, we want to see you produce some power rail surfing. So for Matt Banting, that's not kind of his name of the game. So I wouldn't even be surprised for him to maybe look for a left and just really ramp up and go for a giant air. Mick Fanning, he's got a lot of breathing room, Ronnie. You know, I don't think he'll be phased at all by this mishap right here. Even Mick Fanning, he tends to ride a lot of wave Tokuros when he goes to Hawaii, so it's a pretty smart thing to get the local shapers going.
Here goes Banting, and this could be good because he's chasing a huge number, and there's a beautiful layback jam to get things started, really kicking the tail, and he has more room to move. He's spinning out all over the place at the moment. Almost hangs on to that move. Fanning out the back now with maybe a better looking wave, and there's a more explosive turn from the 3-time world champion as he floats out onto the open face, climbing up onto the roof once again. Just moves with incredible speed and covers those tricky sections with ease. When the wave slows up, he delivers turns like this, and he's still banging away at this one. He might just improve his lead with this ride as he finishes with a layback karate kick to the face.
That was his best wave right there, in my opinion. He's got an 8.83. I feel like that one's better. So Mick Fanning is on fire right now. And Ronnie, that was a very difficult wave to surf. There was a period there where that thing was trying to run away from him. It's such a good job by making up that ground.
Strider said that Mick was picking off the waves that had a bit more pace, but is he actually fast enough to create sections where he can draw out turns?
100%. You know, Mick Fanning, he's notorious. You know, he really is one of the fastest surfers on tour. As we see Matty Banting, as you said, Ronnie, spinning all over the place. I think he's just kind of stuck in that rut right now where he's really trying to chuck his fins. But watch this section right here. This is a big move, so nice statement from Mick. This is where he really has to step on the gas. Look at that section right there. He just flew right past it. So great awareness for Mick Fanning to kind of get those pumps, to just to get enough speed. Now he's back out into the open.
This is going to be interesting to see how high the judges go with it. Mick had a little bit of everything on this ride. It was a big finish. There wasn't really any mistakes on this wave, Ross.
No mistakes, and again, great awareness again for Mick. You know, he could have got hung up on trying to go for an air on that last move, but he said, you know what, I want to finish on my feet, and went for a layback hammer. But that opening turn we just saw right there from Mick, textbook. You know, that's his version of getting radical. You know, he won't really try to go to the air too much, but he'll get half his board out the back, you know, which is definitely a committed move. There again, you can see his back knee getting really low to the deck of his board. That's that technique that Mick Fanning really is unique to him. Not many surfers do that. So not only is it stylish, but it's very functional because it keeps your weight, everything centered over the deck of your board. That really makes it a consistent move for Mick Fanning to make.
Wow. Mixing things up on the end section too. 5 minutes remaining. And Mick putting up one of the biggest numbers of the contest, a 9.77.
I mean, he's exhausted, and then look at him now, just turning around, paddling into another wave. This guy is an animal.
Well, he can afford to have a bit of fun here. He's going to throw a little alley-oop down, but doesn't ride out of it. But Mick, I think it would probably be fair to say, Ross, even though he's still fit, he's probably not as finely tuned as he's been in recent years. So just feeling the effects of a number of long rides as we see Banting with an opportunity to put on a show, and he does just that. He's been drifting that tail all over the place throughout this heat. He's going to get back on the open face here. Certainly one of the more innovative surfers there is on tour, and he throws down a huge air reverse attempt, almost rode out of that thing. Matt, despite the fact he's back in 30th on the CT and in 31st on the QS, at the QS level, I never get too concerned about him. I feel like he's one of those guys that, even if he fell off tour, could easily put together a solid run of results on the QS and get his place back.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that, because his type of surfing, he's so light-footed. You know, this kind of wave right here, the way this is surfed on a QS, it's undeniable. You know, he's surfing against a lot of surfers that are his age, so he's going to actually look like he has the maturity in those heats and dominate them. So on a QS, you know, he's still counting a couple zeros, and there's 3 big events left, QS 10,000. So even though he's not doing too well on a CT, you know, I'm sure he'll get those big results he needs and requalify. Maybe he'll take these lumps on the head and learn and maybe gain some more muscle, Ronnie, and get a little more power involved with his surfing next year on a championship tour. But you know, Matt Banting, everyone has to learn and grow, and he's in that stage. So a rookie season for him, and he's gonna have to start learning.
Well, it was cool just to see the little nod of respect to Fanning after he heard the 9.77 drop. He actually put his hands together and gave Mick a clap as he arrived back at the takeoff zone. So Matty Banting, a disappointing result for him here at Trestles, but Mick Fanning is back on track. Last year's event winner, unstoppable here in the second round.
What a display right there from Mick. That was crazy, you know, and so now I think he'll be happy to have lost to his friend yesterday, Joel, and moving through to round 3.